President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine needs strong agreements with the United States. According to Associated Press, speaking in his nightly address on Thursday, the Ukrainian president described his meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump's Ukraine envoy Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. He said they had discussed the frontline situation, the need to release all our prisoners held in Russia, and the necessity of a reliable and clear system of security guarantees. One that ensures this war will never return and that Russians will never again destroy lives. We all need peace, Ukraine, Europe, America, everyone in the world, he said. Zelensky also spoke about recent strikes on the Russian territory conducted by Ukraine forces. For every $2 invested in our long-range capabilities, we already ensure almost $10 in Russian losses. This is the dynamic we need. Russia must feel the cost of war to truly want peace, he said.
Я дякую кожному з наших партнерів, які розуміють, що потрібні сильні позиції і на фронті, щоб захищати людей, і в дипломатії мають значення і сила, і правда. Доповіді були щодо діпстрайків по російських військових об'єктах і по інфраструктурі Росії, що обслуговує війну. На кожні 2 вкладених долари в нашу далекобійність ми отримуємо вже майже $10 російських збитків. Це потрібна динаміка. Росія повинна відчувати ціну війни, щоб дійсно хотіти миру. Генерал Келлог, зустріч, яка відновлює надію, нам потрібні сильні угоди з Америкою, угоди, які справді спрацюють. Я доручив працювати швидко і дуже виважено. Економіка і безпека завжди мають йти поруч, і деталі угод мають значення. Чим краще прописані деталі, тим більше результат. Обговорили із генералом Келлогом фронт, необхідність звільнити всіх наших полонених, які утримуються в Росії, а також необхідність надійної і чіткої системи гарантій безпеки, щоб війна більше не повернулась і щоб росіяни не ламали життя. Мир потрібен всім нам – Україні, Європі, Америці, всім у світі.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Wednesday it was important that the upcoming meeting with U.S. National Security Advisor Keith Kellogg and overall cooperation with America be constructive. According to Associated Press, speaking in his nightly video address, Zelensky reiterated that Ukraine wanted the war to end from the very first second. That remark followed comments by U.S. President Donald Trump, who accused Ukraine in an online post of going into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start. Trump also described Zelensky as a dictator without elections.
Багато зустрічей, нарад сьогодні, командування армії, розвідка, міністри для підготовки до перемовин з представником президента Сполучених Штатів Америки. Генерал Келлог вже в Києві. Він вже зустрічався з главкомом Сирським, з нашими керівниками розвідок та спеціальних служб, також з керівником мого офісу. На завтра запланована наша зустріч з генералом Келлогом. І для нас дуже важливо, щоб зустріч і взагалі робота з Америкою була конструктивною. Разом з Америкою і Європою мир може бути надійніше. І це є нашою метою. Головне, щоб це було не тільки нашою метою, а спільною з партнерами. Тим більше напередодні вже 3-х роковин початку цієї війни. Війни, яку ми в Україні хочемо закінчити від першої ж її секунди.
UK Defense Secretary reacted to US President Donald Trump's recent comments about Ukraine starting the war, saying that Ukrainians have been fighting for their freedom and that maximum pressure must be applied to Russia. According to Associated Press, his comments came as a response to relations between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Trump deteriorating rapidly Wednesday, as Zelensky said Trump was living in a Russian-made disinformation space. Trump called Zelensky a dictator without elections, in comments that were sure to complicate efforts to end the war. The Trump administration has started charting a new course, reaching out to Russia and pushing for a peace deal. A shaken Europe is grappling with the new U.S. course under Trump and worrying about Washington's long-standing security guarantees to the continent. Speaking during a visit to Kirkenes, Norway, near the Russian border, Healey stressed that Norway is NATO's front line and the region serves as a reminder that Russia is a threat well beyond Ukraine. Tor Sandvik, Norwegian Defense Secretary, said both countries plan to work together with the U.S. to further protect NATO's northern flank. Both defense chiefs insisted that their support for Ukraine remains unwavering and they're working towards ensuring the country is in the strongest possible position going into any talks.
3 years ago, one country illegally invaded another, and since then the Ukrainians have been fighting for their freedom, they've been fighting for their future, and they still are. So whilst all the focus may be on talks, not even negotiations, our concern as defence ministers is that we're not jeopardising the peace by forgetting about the war. And our job as defence ministers is to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position going into any talks. And that means continuing to step up the military aid that we in Europe, alongside we argue to the States, needs to be maintained. Because the maximum pressure on Putin is going to mean the maximum chance that he will negotiate seriously. This is NATO's front line. It's Norway's border with Russia, but what you and we have done as nations over the decades is to stand together defending NATO's northern flank. And at this time, when our partnership is growing closer and deeper with every day, this visit, this region, reminds us that Russia is a threat well beyond Ukraine, and reminds us that Russian aggression is not confined to Ukraine.
Russia has suffered a lot in Ukraine. They lost a lot of young people, but still the nukes and the Northern Fleet is intact, and it's still a threat towards our societies and our countries. So bringing John up here is also an opportunity for himself to see the eyes and the ears and the capacities we have here to look after the Russians. And as John also mentioned, we are going to cooperate wider and deeper together, and also together with the Americans, because NATO in the North is a topic for all the three of us.
We work together in this area of the High North and the North Atlantic, and we also work together supporting Ukraine. So together our two countries lead the Maritime Capability Coalition, putting some of the maritime weaponry into the hands of the Ukrainians and building up, importantly, their strength to guarantee their own security and future.